JJ, it says your
I know,
name.
I know.
I'm so confused. I checked the Blues game right
I know,
now.
I know, I know. I was like expecting Ian to say okay or something, and so I'm just like sitting here waiting. All right.
Make this intro. Check the Twitch.
If you never want to miss whenever the Fantasy Daydreamers go live, head over to our Twitch, twitch.com/Daydreamer Media. Follow along there, click the notification bell, and never miss when we go live. Welcome into the Fantasy Daydreamers podcast. I am your host, JJ. With me, I got Keone.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody of all denominations. I am here today in the place that I've always been, past a benchmark of, did you know we're the top 20th percentile of podcasts? Hey, you should. And you may know that if you followed me on the Twitter at Daydreamer Keone, even though I've never mentioned it. But still, follow me there.
And Ryan is here.
What's up, guys? ROKKO.
Rocco.
Daydreamer. I'm here with a little cold. They call me Rassy Rocco. This is my Jordan flu game. I will lead us to the ship.
So have you moved on from Headband Rocco? No.
Well, just for this week until my voice is back, and then I can be Headband Rocco again. The lineup's getting a little dirty now, so it's not as clean as it was before. So I can start rocking headbands again.
Okay. You guys can follow me at JJ Daydreamers on Twitter. You guys can follow the show at FF Daydreamers on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Let's get into some news. Jets quarterback Zach Wilson did not practice on Wednesday. He's dealing with an ankle injury. You got to think he plays, right? I mean,
I would presume he would. I don't see what. No, he's back, and so that would be a tough break if he is not playing.
so we've seen him for 1 week now. Can you put any trust into his weapons there?
Brees Hall and maybe Tyler Conklin until we figure out more about the wide receivers. Corey Davis, low-key getting used a lot in this offense, but like Elijah Moore, scared.
Corey Davis, it's all garbage time, but I figure it's the Jets, so there'll probably be some garbage time.
They're one of those garbage time teams.
That's pretty good. They're one of those garbage time teams. That should be a shirt. Running back Brees Hall was also limited in Wednesday's practice, so it's just something to keep an eye on there. Jets running back. Commanders wide receiver Curtis Samuel did not practice on Wednesday. He's dealing with an illness.
Oh my god.
Just something if he stays sick. Usually, if they sit out on Wednesday, they're usually rested by Sunday and good to go.
He's down with the sickness. Ooh,
Commanders rookie running back Brian Robinson has been designated to return, so his 21-day window has been opened. So if he's not rostered in a league, would you guys go at
him? No, at least not yet. And I'm sure maybe somebody's going to get him, but he was just cleared to practice. So, I think it's going to take him some time to kind of get accustomed to that offense, or at least the rhythm of the NFL again.
I think I would add him. This is the time to do it. And he can be the back end of your bench, but I think he's going to have a role.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a role eventually too. This coaching staff just does not want to use Antonio Gibson. And so I think eventually it'll be Brian Robinson. But if you're adding him, you're not expecting to play him anytime soon. You gotta have that bench spot open. Giants wide receiver Kenny Golladay sustained a sprained MCL. He is not expected to travel to London this week.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I was playing for that team, I would have suffered a sprained MCL myself.
Hey, bro.
I'm not traveling to London to get 2 targets. I might drop both of them, but I'm not traveling to London to get 2 targets.
Well, I'll travel with the team and and explore London, but I'm not. They're like, oh no, I can't, I can't play, but I can definitely go on those double-decker buses. So
I'm a millionaire. I'm not riding on no buses with those peasants.
well, it's fun though.
I'm a millionaire to get I'm getting paid millions of dollars to get 2 targets. Come on. Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson and running back Melvin Gordon will play tonight. Russ is dealing with a right shoulder injury while Melvin Gordon is dealing with a neck injury, but both will be active tonight. So
he's right-handed too, huh?
Russell
Bill's right-handed? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Throwing right-handed, right shoulder.
Don't love that.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't really loved Filet Wilson all season long. Hasn't been playing so good. And I think that I'm gonna start a petition to change it from Filet Wilson to Filet Smith, because Geno Smith is the one cooking.
Hey,
not Russell Wilson.
Let's go.
Filet Smith.
Yeah, it's a Seattle trademark, not like a player.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Bad news for tonight's game. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor has been is declared out for tonight's game.
I think this could be good news though.
Good news
for his season long.
Maybe, yeah.
Like
take a week
another
off.
Thursday night game, playing on a bad ankle. Rough.
Yeah, just use it to recover, get better,
Versus a good Broncos defense.
Mm-hmm.
Just
let Naheem Hines get beat up.
So, yeah, is Naheem Hines someone you're willing to play this week with Jonathan Taylor being out?
I'm gonna talk about this later, but you guys can go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, just like it will be coming up later.
Okay.
Foreshadow.
There's 2 different segments, and I really don't know which one. One's a start and one's a sit, so we'll see. That'll do it for the news.
Nice.
Let's get into some start-sit questions.
You've got questions, we've got answers.
So if you guys want to have your questions answered on the podcast, go ahead and DM us on Twitter or Instagram at FF Daydreamers. And ask us your questions. They might get on the podcast. So first up, running back for the Denver Broncos, Melvin Gordon versus Indianapolis, or wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, Juju Smith-Schuster versus Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay. I don't necessarily want to play either of these. But I'm going to begrudgingly say Melvin Gordon. Both opponents are ranked 20th against their respective positions, or against the respective positions they're facing. Both are prime time games, technically. One is a Thursday night, but Gordon is going to be the starter, I presume, over Boone, even though Boone probably will get some work in this game. He's always got a chance to get in the end zone, unless he fumbles on the goal line, but we're hoping not for that to happen. And just Schuster, I don't know how many times he's going to get the ball, seeing as they throw to basically everybody on that team and their reserve of endless tight ends or just other players that you've never heard of. Like he gets a decent amount of targets, but I think there will be more work for Gordon this week. And I think he has a higher touchdown upside somehow. So I'm saying start Gordon over Schuster.
Gordon, I agree. No, I mean, Juju's good. but I think there's a ceiling on his production because he doesn't really. He's like the number 2, number 3 in this offense. But I think Melvin Gordon is the clear number 1 running back. Even though Mike Boone might get third down work, but maybe they won't trust him. I mean, he did drop 2 crucial passes. So I'm just going to go with Gordon. See how it goes.
Yeah, I got to ride with Gordon too, being a number 1 back on the team. He's going to be the number 1 back there. We know that. So Juju against the poor Raiders secondary. It scares me. I think it's Travis Kelce's clearly the number 1 there. You never know when it's going to be Juju's night, and it could be this week, but I'll ride with Melvin Gordon. All right, next question: Dawson Knox versus Pittsburgh or Gerald Everett at Cleveland?
I want to know which side JJ's going on so I can go the opposite. Get my bet back.
The thing is we don't know if Myles Garrett is going to play. This Cleveland defense seems to be different with Myles Garrett on. I mean, obviously it's different. He's one of the best pass rushers, but they play different whenever Myles Garrett is out there. If Myles Garrett's not out there, I might roll with Gerald Everett again, but Pittsburgh, man. The Bills might get up on Pittsburgh and just run out the clock. They might not have to run up the score. And Dawson Knox is touchdown. I mean, if one guy's not touchdown proof, it's Dawson Knox. He needs a touchdown to be relevant. And so if they're not scoring a lot of points, it kind of scares me this week.
Yeah, like Dawson Knox so far has been kind of the epitome of what like the tight end stereotype is for fantasy, where it's like around 50 yards and like 3 to 6 catches, and then maybe he gets a touchdown in a game or
if he gets a touchdown,
while.
You're happy, and if he doesn't,
it's like
man,
why do I have this guy on my team?
Yeah.
Where Everett, like, yes, he's benefited from, Keenan Allen being out, but he's had, besides the Jacksonville game where like basically not many people on that team did well, like he's had 3 good games. And so the matchup is technically worse for Everett, but yeah, I just think he can find the end zone. Like he has, before the season. Yeah. And so I just think Everett, again, touchdowns make a huge difference for tight ends. It's like stupid how much of a different, like, tight end 20 versus tight end 7. So I go Gerald Everett.
I'm going to go Everett too, especially if Alton's out.
All right. Ramondre Stevenson versus Detroit or Drake London at Tampa Bay?
Stevenson. Detroit's run defense is horrible.
Their defense in general is horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man, we all agree on all 3 of them.
Hey.
Yeah, Ramondre Stevenson.
We hang out too much.
Yeah, true. Ramondre Stevenson, I think that he's a pass catching back there as well. So even if, Detroit's scoring a bunch and New England has to pass, it's going to be Ramondre Stevenson. But I think he's also going to get quite a bit of touches. Drake London going against Tampa Bay, that's a good defense. You're hoping that London gets some garbage time catches and a garbage time touchdown. I don't hate playing Drake London here, but I also don't love it.
Yeah.
He's a top 36 guy, but not a top 24 guy,
Yeah, I think the matchup is way in favor for Stevenson. I think he's averaged 17 touches the last 2 games, so that's a good amount of work, especially in an offense where it's sharing time with Damian Harris, who is also getting a good amount of work. But yeah, Detroit's defense is awful. They're even if they're in the game or not in the game, the Patriots are gonna use their run game. And even whether it's Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi, they're going to run the ball. And I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be mad after getting kind of humiliated by Kansas City. So that defense and just that team in general, I think, is gonna not necessarily whoop up on Atlanta, but they're gonna play angry.
All right, that'll do it for our start sit questions. Let's move on to our DFS plays of the week.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
So DFS Daily Fantasy Sports. This is weekly. So you get to set a new lineup every single week. If you guys want to play with us, go ahead and follow us on Twitter at FF Daydreamers. Like I've plugged a couple of times now. We're going to have a post up where you guys could come compete with us in a weekly contest. It's all for free, so you don't have to worry about throwing any money in. All for bragging rights here. Who are you guys playing this week in DFS?
I'll start us off since we just talked about him. Rondre Stevenson versus Detroit, $6,000. I mean, we said it all literally a couple minutes ago. He's a back that's getting used a lot versus a very bad defense. $6,000 is a steal.
Yeah, far below the average, which I think is around 66 and 66 and 2/3 and all that sort of stuff. So, a good price and a good valuation to allow you to free up some space for other players where that, you might be used more wisely. Not as valuable or as low as Ramondre Stevenson, but also a guy who's below the average is J.K. Dobbins. We talked about him earlier in the week. He's coming off, a great game, 2 touchdowns, saw a lot of work, 17 touches, but, didn't get very many yards. So that's something that you'd like to see him improve upon. But, he is back. He's a viable option. They go against the Cincinnati defense, which does rank 8th against the position. And he is dealing, I think, with a chest injury. So keep an eye on that. If he's good to go, I would play him. But obviously, if he's not, pivot. But I think $6,500 in fantasy or in DFS is a good value for a guy who I think can perform and do well in this situation if he does play.
It's a planned rest day. This was a planned rest day for J.K. Dobbins. He's going to play this week.
All right, there you go. Then even more. J.K. Dobbins is a great value.
Agreed. All right, I spent up on my first guy. I'm going with A.J. Brown, wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, this guy is killing it right now. He is the wide receiver 10 overall. We've seen him go over 7 targets every single game, getting at least 5 receptions, been over 69 yards every single game.
Nice.
And he's doing all of this with only 1 touchdown on the season.
Should have had 2. Got 1 call back.
They go against Arizona this week, which, Arizona likes to play to their opponent, so it should be a pretty good game. But I expect Philadelphia's defense to conquer here. And, Kyler Murray putting up a couple points is going to have Jalen Hurts throwing the ball a little. So I'll go with A.J. Brown.
My last guy is going to be Curtis Samuel versus Tennessee for $5,800. He's just playing well. Dawson got nicked up in the game last game, right? I'm pretty sure. And so you only have two good weapons versus Tennessee, Samuel and McLaurin, and I think both are going to be targeted a lot. I expect this game to be really competitive. I don't love Antonio Gibson in this matchup. I don't love the running game in general, so I'm going to have to go Curtis Samuel. Keep up his hot start.
Jahan Dotson dealing with a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like he'll play.
So I'll go a stack on Ryan's, I guess, if you will. And the future, Carson Wentz.
It's time for a good Carson Wentz game.
Versus Tennessee. $6,800. As wild as it is, to be like, go and to play Carson Wentz. He's faced some tough defenses the last 2 weeks. And, he's not done well in those 2 weeks. I believe Philadelphia was ranked 3rd. Dallas was ranked 7th. But those first 2 weeks, they faced Jacksonville and Detroit, which, were not good defenses at the time against the quarterback, and he did well. And currently, Tennessee is ranked 25th against the quarterback. They've allowed at least 2 touchdowns per game to the position. So as wild as it may seem to consider Carson Wentz, he is a good value because he can play well. Yes, his O-line is not very good at all, but he does have Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel as viable weapons, and he goes to them. And Carson Wentz is a garbage time warrior, so he'll get you some touchdowns and points late in the game. So it might be stressful for 3 quarters, but that 4th quarter, baby, whoo, it's Wentz time. They call it the witching hour? No, it's the Wentzing hour. Yeah.
I'm glad you laughed at that. I'm glad you laughed at their own joke.
Of course.
I respect it.
Somebody's gotta.
Yeah.
All right, I will stack my own player, and I'm going with AJ Brown's quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Quarterback 3 on the season. And really, just him on the ground alone is what's breaking him open, averaging 13.3 rushing attempts, 51 yards, averaging a rushing touchdown a game. He's killing it right now. Jalen Hurts, again, going against Arizona, like I already talked about with AJ Brown. So should be a really good game for this duo.
He's definitely a guy who at times will be like, you know what, screw it. Let me do this myself.
Right.
And so then that's when you get those nice run plays.
Walked up into the end zone.
Yeah.
Called his own number. Looking like Machamp.
Oh, Machamp?
Machamp. That's it, Machamp. Machamp.
Oh, that's amazing. That's like the off, the off brand or the imitation. Like, oh, it's a 4-armed, shark. Oh, it's Machamp. Oh,
that's
not
Kyler
the same.
Murray. Kyler Murray.
That's
the
amazing.
Machamp to Jalen Hurts' Machamp. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
All right, that'll do it for our DFS starts of the week. Now let's get into the no flex zone.
No flex zone. No flex zone. They know better.
So who is a player that people might want to be sliding into that flex position, but you guys are telling them to stay away from?
For me, it's going to be DJ Moore going against San Francisco. DJ Moore has only gone over double digit fantasy points 1 time this season. Even in a game last week when he got 11 targets, he only got 50 yards on 6 receptions. This offense looks horrible. They're going in San Francisco again, who is only giving up 11.5 points, literally to the whole team, bro. 4 straight games. They are filthy right now. Yes, they let Cooper Kupp to get off, but Cooper Kupp gets off on everybody. But DJ Moore is not Cooper Kupp, and Baker Mayfield sucks. So.
Also, San Francisco didn't allow a touchdown to Cooper Kupp, so that's the impressive.
That's a win in itself. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it should have allowed a touchdown to Tyler Higbee, but for another day.
Pass.
I'm gonna go with a guy in the same game, but on the opposite side. I'm gonna go with Brandon Ayuk.
I was thinking the same thing.
The 49ers team has shown sparks of being really, really good, and their defense is just fantastic. But it looks a lot like it did, almost identical to kind of how it did last year, where this team is Jimmy G is the quarterback, Deebo Samuel is like the breakout guy, the defense is doing great, but Brandon Ayuk is lost, in the shuffle. He's only has 1 touchdown on the year and only 1 game over 60 yards. The rest are either 40 yards or less. He has had 2 games with 8 targets, but the most catches he's had in a game is 5. Jimmy G is still kind of that game manager, not yet quite to the rhythm that you want him to be, except with maybe Deebo Samuel. But again, that's Deebo Samuel, not Brandon Ayuk. So this is going to favor probably Deebo a lot in this game. The Panthers have given up a good amount of points to the wide receiver position, but Brandon Ayuk, I don't think is going to be the beneficiary of that, or at least not enough for me to want to play him, seeing as he is also the wide receiver 48 on the season. So I'd say do not play Brandon Ayuk in your flex this week.
All right, I like it. Someone who you should not be flexing this week, Michael Gallup, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. I know you saw the touchdown that he scored on Sunday, but that's against Washington, who's not playing very, very well. Michael Gallup only had 3 targets, caught 2 of them. It just wasn't really an impressive day. 24 yards, and he scored the touchdown. That's what really boosted him to a wide receiver 35 finish. So, I mean, still not good. And yes, he's coming off the injury. It's going to take him a little bit to get all the way back into the swing of things. This week, they play the Rams in LA, who are coming off of that loss to San Francisco. The Rams and Jalen Ramsey. I mean, maybe Jalen Ramsey follows CD most of the game, but this defense is going to be out for blood against this Cowboys team. So I am staying far, far away from Michael Gallup.
Talking about the Rams, you see the fan trying to sue Bob Wagner? I'm trying to file a police report.
No, but I saw him tackle him.
Dude, the fan's trying to file a police report on Bobby Wagner. Boy, take your hit and get out of here.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. You signed up for when you went on that field.
Oh, and then Michael Gallup also plays at Philadelphia next week, so I'd probably send him then. But then versus Detroit the week after.
Oh, that's probably a perfect time for him to,
with Dak probably returning.
Dak come back. Michael Gallup hitting. Just keep him on your bench till then.
So a guy who played Dallas last week, Antonio Gibson, is going to be my last no flex zone player. The first 2 weeks, he had 12 targets, 9 receptions, 85 yards. The last 2 weeks, he had 4 targets, 4 receptions for 16 yards. He's not being used in the passing game. It's going to McKissick. He's rushing. He basically averages like 14 touches, basically, but he's not going over 60 yards. And he's basically a touchdown dependent running back right now. And going against Tennessee, I got Jeffrey Simmons, multiple good linebackers. I'm not in love with this matchup at all. I would stay away for sure. We know they don't want to use Gibson. They're down on him. If he's not getting passing work, I have to bend too much on a touchdown for me to start him. So I'm staying away.
Dang. I feel like they pranked us. Like we're on an episode of Punk'd, starring Ron Rivera. Like, ha! You think he's gonna get? You got 12 targets.
Week 1, yeah.
Yeah, joke's on you. Never gonna happen again. I was just so excited to see him actually getting, passing down work, and then just nope, wrong, incorrect, not true. But speaking of a guy, I guess, who could get passing down work, but you shouldn't play. And it's tonight's game, so, it's pivotal or important. Nyheim Hines. Just because he's playing and going to be, taking over Jonathan Taylor as the head running back on this team, don't use that, don't consider that a viable means to start him in your flex. They face the Broncos, who are 7th against the run. They are a very good run team or run defense. And yes, they are coming off a game where they gave up their most yards and points to the running back. But then again, Las Vegas ran the ball 30 times. So it's almost going to happen if they're running that much. I don't expect them to, they might run that many times, or he might get, I don't think he's going to get 30 touches or anywhere, maybe not even 20. might get around 20, but still, it's not going to be as productive as Josh Jacobs was or anything like that. As much as I hate to say it, the Colts are not a great offense or a great team right now, but neither is Denver. He's only has, I think, 7 yards on the ground. That's the most he's had this year, and 54 total yards in a game. That's not enough for me to want to play him, even though he is starting. So Nyheim Hines, I don't put him on your bench. No flex.
All right, someone that I am not flexing this week is the Falcons running backs, either of them, Tyler Algier or Caleb Huntley. I feel like this is a trap game. Going against Tampa Bay, that is a dirty run defense. Everyone who lost Cordero Patterson, or even if you didn't, everyone's jumping on Tyler Algier, Caleb Huntley to add them over waivers. But even if you added them, I don't want to start them this week. We talked about it on Tuesday's podcast. Ryan said it. Do not play them against Tampa Bay. These are backup running backs for a reason. Rookie Tyler Algier looks like he'll be the one there, but also it's going to be both of them. That's a big thing here to remember, is it's not just a lead back role here. This is going to be a split back role, meaning that neither of them are really going to be viable options for fantasy. So I would sit to both Falcons running backs.
Dang. Twofer.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for the podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and follow us on Twitch, twitch.com/daydreamermedia. Follow us there, click the notification bell, and never miss when we go live. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at FF Daydreamers. Head over to our website, fantasydaydreamers.com. You guys can find all the links, all of our podcasts, and we got articles coming out weekly. So multiple times a week, in fact, from multiple different writers. So go ahead and head over to our website and check those out. And you guys got anything else to plug?
They're good articles. They're very helpful. So it's like, oh, you're not sure, and if you don't want to, do listen to the podcast. But if you just want to sit down for a few minutes and have a short read, they're easy to read articles. Waiver wires, starts, sits, and DFS value picks. So
yeah, maybe you were confused. These aren't like recipe articles or anything like this. These will help you win your fantasy league. So
yeah,
because it was confusing, just random articles thrown up on the website.
Yeah, here's my football shaped cake. Yeah. Just in time for the fantasy season. And then give you my whole backstory on why how I grew up and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Just my 120-page screenplay.
Yeah.
About how I came up with this particular recipe.
I just need.
Yeah.
All right. So follow us on all social medias and head over to our website. And remember to always stay dreaming.
Stay dreaming.